Alright, welcome to the second installment of the Walk Around video blogs. Still working on that name. Got a couple ideas. I haven't quite hashed one out that I really like yet, though. So I'll be working on that for a little while. Again, there's not going to be any improvement in this episode's audio or video. I haven't It hasn't been any time yet, so I know there is a whir in the background. That's just my laptop running, so uh, it's not too terribly loud, and I'm talking loud enough that you can hear me over it. So um, I guess what I want to talk about first is some ideas that I've had for future videos. I haven't received a whole lot yet in the way of ideas from you guys who have been watching the video, and a significant number of you are. I really thank you guys for that. Um, I've gotten a lot more reviews, not reviews, views these last couple of days than I had ever expected that I would. So the ideas that I had were that I could maybe incorporate some Ask Ken questions. I think I mentioned that in uh, Tuesday's video. I believe it was on Tuesday, and I'm actually going to be doing that in today's episode. So that will be uh, in this one. Um, Also, as I said before, I'd like to do some kind of review in every episode, um, whether that is solely about a book or a movie, a video game, or if I spend one episode talking about a series in total, or even just an author by themselves. Um, and the other idea that I had is I could talk a little bit about some of my writing, some uh, things I use to help me write, um, tips and suggestions, that kind of thing. And I had gotten an idea last night from a friend of mine to do kind of short little make it up as I go stories. Spend the last 4 or 5 minutes or so um, making up a story, and it could either be just a one episode little bit that I have 5 minutes to start and end a story, or it could be some overarching multi-part story. And I am not too sure about that yet, but it could certainly be fun. Um, so that's that. Those are my ideas. I would like to get some feedback from you guys, if those are things that you think are good, or if you have some ideas of your own. I would love to hear those. Um, so now I'm going to review The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. This is his first book in his Gentleman Bastards series. Sorry. Um, this is I finished this book about a week ago, and I haven't really gotten this into a book in a long time. It's it revolves around the life of a young boy who survives a plague kind of thing, and is adopted by a group of pickpockets and thieves, and a big whole society of them that uh, live out their lives kind of underground. Um, but he ends up getting outcast from that because he breaks some of their key rules, and he goes on to kind of be the biggest, most powerful thief in the entire city he lives in. Um, and it's just got some fantastic humor. Um, the the story itself is artful, to say the least. It's great suspense, um, and it really pulls you in. It's not just some story that you read. It's a story that you live a little bit. I don't know if that would be true for everyone, but it certainly pulled me into it, in a very wonderful way. The main section of the story, the bulk of the story, revolves around the main character, Locke Lamora, or that's the name he gives anyway, who is working very hard to scam um, a noble family out of thousands of their money, out of thousands of dollars of their own money. Not dollars, but I'm using it because I can't remember quite what all the terms for the currency were in this book. And he really succeeds. And there's an evil character in all of this, and um, it he really the main character he really experiences a lot in this book, both good and bad. It's While most of his growing up happens in just a couple of chapters, um, this really is a kind of coming of age story. Not so much in that you see the whole process of him growing and experiencing new things, but after he's aged significantly, we see him really start to face some of the real hardships in the world, um, and really go through some terrible things that he really hadn't had to deal with up until then, and that just really kind of brings the whole thing to life. Um, at least it did for me. I really recommend this book, and I cannot wait to continue reading the series. I've actually ordered the second book, so that's on its way. Uh, so I look forward to reading that, to say the least. So, Ask Ken question. I've only got two right now on the blog, two that I haven't done yet. I might go back and actually recover some ones that I've written up before, just because there were certain ones that it's hard to cover in just a text base. It's easier to actually talk it out and explain what's going on. Easier to do it that way than typing it out in a X number of words response. So the question I'm going to do today is as follows. Do you feel you are helped or hindered in your writing pursuits while being in school? That is, which is better for your writing, summer or classes in session? I've actually given this a significant number of I've given this a good deal of thought um, in preparation for this video, and a big chunk of this question is, well, the question that I'm going to ask in response to this question is, what of my writing are you talking about? Because the answer is different between my kind of growing as a writer overall, or simply working on my own personal pursuits. Because I truly think that being in school, being during classes, I have the chance to continue to advance myself as a writer through those classes, through all the papers that I have to write, and all the things that I'm learning in my English classes. That is really helping me develop some very good writing skills. However, not all of those carry over to my creative writing. In fact, unfortunately, small amount of it is carrying over to my creative writing, and because of the sheer amount of writing that I have to do for these classes, makes it extremely difficult to find time to do my personal projects. Um, so, in that respect, school is a hindrance. Um, it doesn't leave me open to work on what I'd like to be working on. But at the same time, I'm still growing and progressing as a writer, so it's kind of both. I'm getting some good and some bad um, out of it. I mean, the skills I'm learning uh, through my writing, while they may not exactly carry over to creative writing, they're skills that every person should have, um, because no matter what you may hear in the corridors of your college or your high school or even the place you work at, you have to be at least average at writing and reading to succeed in society today. I'll even go a step further and say you have to be skilled at it at the least, because I don't care what profession you go into. I don't care what you are going to do with your life. You are going to have to write something to someone, and you are going to have to be able to read things that other people have written to you and pick out what they're trying to say to you, which may not always be word for word what they've written down. And taking classes like these is the best way to progress those skills in ways that you otherwise might not be able to. So I am, while I'm not overjoyed that I have to sacrifice some of my personal pursuits to develop my academic pursuits, I understand the reasons therein and accept that it's something that is really important and should be happening. Um, well, I've probably answered that question and then some in my own special way. I guess I answered it just because I chose both answers. Just means I went about it the fun way. Um, that's all I have for this episode. I I really hope that you guys will not only take the time to watch this, but remember to certainly comment on the video. I would really like to get some input. Um, as I know you guys are watching this, and it doesn't take all that much work to leave a comment underneath those YouTube videos. And hey, if you really like the video, then also, I mean, feel free to click that like button. Um, it's gonna help me. It's gonna help me to see that these videos are being watched, that they are worthwhile. If I just see that I'm getting views, um, that doesn't really mean that people are watching the entire thing. I don't think you have to watch the entire video for it to count as a view. Um, and so I think it'll be those likes and those comments that really demonstrate whether or not people are sitting through the entire thing, and whether or not they're really enjoying them. So any comments you want to leave, please leave them. That's all I have. Enjoy your days. I'll see you next week.